In the far future, there will be only war.
The chains are broken.
This will be a good hunt.
Through the dark veil of space-time.
This is Warp Chatter.
Stone and steel will speak.
Let's get this over with.
All right, everybody, thank you. Welcome back. I don't know who I'm saying thank you to. My new
Thank
intro.
you for coming here.
Thank you for checking out the podcast. Once again, this is the Warp Chatter podcast, the podcast dedicated.
It's a nice intro.
It is. Did you like that?
Very nice.
I liked it. I'll share it in the chat so you can actually hear it, Duke, because I know you can't hear it.
But it's a new one. It is very good.
It is new. It's edited. It's edited over, but you can experience what will be put on top of whatever I just said, coming from the Eye of Terror Studios. And
I've heard it in the regular podcast. So.
Oh yeah.
This is the new one.
I've always been quite impressed. Oh, really? Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
Completely redone.
It's entirely special. I made this one more loyalist friendly, so.
Which is a true shame for me because I feel like I'm being targeted with this.
I'd like to bounce around. Maybe the next one I'll do like something mechanical focused. It's hard to say. It just depends on the good emotes.
The entire intro's in binary.
It's all zeros and ones. But yeah.
Very nice.
You like it?
Yeah, it's good.
I thought so. This is the podcast talking about the Horus Heresy Legion. This is a podcast by players, for players. I am your host, Scuffy. With me today we have IronDuke.
Hello.
And Axel Manning, of course, the crab co-host.
Howdy, ho.
All right. And we've just got to get and start talking about the intro editing, but we're going to be talking really White Scars. That's the topic of hand. We were waiting to see if there was going to be any sort of patch updates or any new changes to the game, but there hasn't been. So it's been a relatively... At this rate,
I don't expect one until AOS are all done.
Yeah.
Quiet week.
Yeah, it's been a very quiet week. I think we're going to get... if we do get anything, it might be in a week or two, I would expect. If we don't get anything within 2 weeks, I would be surprised. But that just gives
hopefully it's good news for...
Yeah.
Hopefully it's good news for the agents of... What are they? Agents of the
Sigil.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that means they're working hard on that.
I think so.
You doing any reveals, Duke, for the agents?
I should be, but I haven't got them yet, which is not uncommon. I normally get mine within about, the morning I've got a reveal, basically. So,
like last time, you weren't even on the list for reveals, yet you still got one.
Right.
It's weird how they do.
Right, exactly.
I just got mine like 3 hours ago, so...
Well, that doesn't make me feel better because I haven't got mine yet. So it's how does you saying you have? If you saying you have something, how does that make me feel better?
Well, because I'm doing spoilers on Tuesday, so I really only have 26 hours to record. I don't know if
it makes you feel better. The guy who was supposed to get it Monday got it just now, and he doesn't have enough time to record.
That's true. Skypoint got his late, so he's going to have to do his on Tuesday too. So, I mean, I Everguild tries,
announcement,
and sometimes they just run late, and that's not. I think not this expansion, but last expansion. I think it was for the Knights. I got my spoilers like 4 hours before I was scheduled. So I was
okay. Even I can't claim. Even I can't claim that unlucky.
Yeah, I was like, here's the images. That's all I got. I don't have time for anything else.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't really surprise me. I'm still disappointed, but that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
As people might be aware of, there's I am in the past a little bit lax with getting on the right time. It often has 24 hours? It has been. Well, I'll be doing the Thousand Suns any day now.
I was going to ask about the Thousand Suns spoilers because I feel like
I'm surprised no one led with that. Actually, that's my biggest meme about me, I think. But often it is. Well, internet connection here. During the month or so, the Thousand Suns and everything came out. The government here was very ban happy with how the internet was working, and I just couldn't get online. That's the reason that Thousand Suns were late. But a lot of the reason it's being pushed back a bit is because they give it to me like the morning I've got to do it, and I've got other things to do that day. So anyway.
No, it's
It just doesn't.
They've been
yeah. If you get the images, it's one thing if you were just like sharing them on the Discord or like emailing them to a friend. But when
Sure,
you're doing a video,
that's-
you've got to upload it. You've got to edit. You obviously are recording depending on what your take is. Everybody kind of does a different style of approach, whether it's an analysis of the cards or here's what the card does or whatever it is. That takes
IronDuke
time.
always does a fun little style of his.
I can't help it. Like that's another. Yeah, I can't not do that now.
I love your little I love not really anime, but I love your little intros to the videos. They're always fun.
I try and come up with something, and
Your Imperial Fist one
sometimes
was fun.
yes, I like that. That was my favorite so far. I think.
Was that the Death Star?
Oh,
No, that was the show me the real Dorn.
Oh,
And it kept
yes.
changing images until he had
That was
sideburns.
good. Yes, that was good.
I'm disappointed. I did specifically ask for a moustache reveal when I didn't ask for spoiler reveals. I asked for moustache reveals, and they let me down. So I had to give my own moustache reveals.
Such a shame he isn't all mustached up, because let's be real here. The image we all know is him full. What's the term?
You know
for
what?
mustache?
I did not even know another one existed, but I'm not really.
That's not even the canon image. He's
that's
never
just
had
a-
facial.
Right,
hair.
exactly.
Do you think
One of the.
if they alt art Dorn, he'll have facial hair?
He's got.
They've got
I
to,
will.
surely.
I will riot. We'll
They,
start a revolution.
It'd be impossible not to, right? Well, actually, no. They are bound probably by what's it called, terms of service or whatever with Games Workshop. But no,
I don't know. Like we haven't.
it'd be the right
seen-
thing to do.
It would. We haven't seen the like I think there's only a couple at this point Primarchs who don't have a Primarch series book, and Dorn is one of them. And sometimes they take the art from the cover of that as the alt art or the Reckoning art. So I mean, if we got a cover, that could give you a hint as far as if we're gonna see that as the alt art or not. But I think really like all the images that we have of Dorn are in the game. I mean, all the good like cover art images, his main Primarch cover, his Reckoning picture, Defender of Terra, the was it the 5 energy tactic, like all the like you just did a Google search of Rogel Dorn GW art, like they're already in the game. So it's either going to have to be either custom art or it may depend on what the Primarch cover looks like.
I think what they'll do is they'll grab his model and just color his model in with their art style, like they did for a couple others.
If they did that, I would be okay with it because his model and the pose is pretty badass. And as long as it doesn't look like Ferrus Manus from 1990s comic book Ferrus Manus, I'm okay with that. I'll still buy it because I'm gonna support the Dorn as much as I possibly can. But I will cringe if it's 90s Ferrus Manus.
No, but part of me wants it to be 90s Ferrus Manus, no matter what, because of how bad it was. It's just funny.
It's so bad. That's the worst one. Like it made right when we thought Perturabo was bad, then we got Ferrus Manus, and we're like,
Could be worse. Not really, but it could.
That was Well, I don't know. I'm not being a bit of a Vulcan fan. I'm a bit disappointed having the cover art of his book being so
the Fire Drake one.
Right, disappointing compared to the actual original art. I prefer the original art compared to
I agree.
his
original
alt art one
is very standout. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Right,
his original art is so good, and the fact that his alt art doesn't have a different transformation is upsetting.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, he's one of the ones. Because before the earlier Primarchs, they didn't really do reckoning changes for their reckoning, did they?
No.
That's correct.
He's on it. Oh, well, the chaos one, sure, but the record that's the
No.
Whispers,
Korak's got one.
Oh, sorry, Korax. Yeah, no, you're right. Right. Sorry, I thought you said Horus.
No,
Yeah,
you know what
that's
gets
fine.
me though about Horus. Excuse me, is his image on the card is not the same image that's on the titles, like on the screen when you select him as your
Yeah,
hero.
I know.
That still bugs me.
Oh, that is a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always been that
I
way.
hadn't actually thought of that. Huh.
It's like, why
Something
isn't it the
just,
same image? And like, I don't know if it's this. Obviously, if you pick his alt art, you get the Lupercal, like the pearl armor one. But that's always bugged me. I was like, why? I don't understand.
Doesn't make sense, but
Yeah,
it's
it
just
doesn't
how they
make
did
sense. That's just the way it is. Wait, speaking of alt art, like talking about the White Scars, I guess. I mean, Jagatai.
it. Yeah,
Khan,
talking about alt art, Jihadi Khan's getting his soon.
he should be because we're moving into the Malevolence expansion. neither Sanguinius nor Jagatai has had an alt art. I don't know. Is there an image for Jagatai that hasn't been used for alt art, or are we going to get a homebrew?
We might get. He doesn't even have a model yet. I don't know. That's weird. I don't know what this ink could be, because I was like, oh yeah, it'll just be a model. Easy cop out. It doesn't have a model.
Right. Yeah, he's the last one, right? Isn't he the last
Yep.
unmodeled Black Forge World Primarch?
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting.
Weird to think about.
Him and the White Scars haven't had the most attention given to them over the years, have they?
You want to hear something completely honest? If you told me to name every Legion, I could, but then I'd forget the White Scars at the end every time.
Right? Yeah, they're probably the last one you think of, right? You go through all the others and like, yeah, I remember what they did in the lore. I remember what the White Scars kind of they're almost been tacked on.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly. Yeah,
I like them, but
I
like them, but they aren't memorable.
They are literally the Forgotten Sons. That's the truth.
Right? Yeah, and it works that way.
They've done. I mean, in terms of even in the story, and I think we talked about this way back when. I'm trying to remember what episode, but we were talking about how even in the book series, the events that the White Scars were in were just like 3 books, which was very little. And they had their crux book, where basically it's like scars, where you determine like, oh, that's when they find out about the heresy and lines are drawn, and some of the scars make the wrong call. They think that they're siding with Horus, and they're really not. But then there's this giant gap where up until Jagatai got his legion united and made for Terra, for 5 years or whatever, he's just fighting the traitor legions out there. But there's hardly any stories. There's no novels about it. It's just this, they're just a force that's out there fighting, but they don't get any credit for it, or any story. And I don't know if that is on purpose. They're like, it's White Scars. Well, what are they going to do? I don't know. It's White Scars. People don't need to see them doing things. They just need to know that they're doing things. Let's not really shine light on them. Or was it after the fact they look back, they're like, hey, yeah, by this point, the White Scars have probably been battling the traitor legions for 5 years. Should we do a book about that? No, it's too late to do a book. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, they as you said, the Forgotten Sons.
Yeah.
When it came to White Scar reveals, I wanted to... the other... Sorry, not just the White Scar reveals, but the other reveals I've been doing, I usually tried to insert a little bit of what I knew about the Legion into, what the little insert at the beginning. As you said about the Dawn one, I know the big meme about Dawn having the moustache or not, and that's where I went with it. But it came to the White Scars, I didn't know what to do. I knew nothing at all about them. What's the what do you do with that?
Yeah, well, I think that's I don't know if that was something that they didn't know either. When I say they, I mean Black Library, because what you know about White Scars, okay, they have bikes, right? That's in tabletop. Their army is all bike based. Well, what does that mean? As far as a legion goes, as far as their lore, their history, they're Mongolians on bikes. Okay, I mean, is that all there is to it? And they did that novella.
Do you need more than that?
I think you do, because really,
a little bit, not much, for sure.
Not much, but you've got books there like Fulgrim. You've got books like obviously, Horus Rising, and even Legion that are painting certain Primarchs, actually giving character to the Legion as well as to the Primarch. So I think they tried to do that a little bit with the novella, and I'm trying to remember what the novella was. It was oh gosh, I forget. It ended up being reprinted because it was a limited print Black Library novella, and they ended up reprinting it in one of the short story collections later, where basically the idea was, okay, well, what does it... let's make it where this legion has got they are the Mongols on bikes, but that's not what they all are, because half of the legion is actually Terran and doesn't have that Chagris heritage and linked to Jagatai Khan. How would they feel about that? So there's this weird strange break between half of the legion who are we're Astartes. We fight for the Emperor, and this is how we fight, because this is how we're trained to fight, because that's what Terra taught us, and we learned from all of our fellow brother legions, whether it's the Sons of Horus or the Space Wolves or the Lunar Wolves or whatever it is. And then you've got the Chagoris natives who are we came up with the Khan, and this is how we fight on Chagoris, and this is how we fight as Astartes. It doesn't change. Like, you laugh and you die, and how those two sides kind of mesh, and that added an interesting layer to the idea. But the novella was, because it was a limited print novella, I don't think it got a lot of play. Plus, on top of that, that was really the only conflict. It was like they fought orcs, because that's what they were doing at the time. They were finishing up the Olenor Crusade on a certain part of the map, and so there really wasn't a huge conflict other than, I don't understand your side of things, and you don't understand my side of things, and I guess we'll meet in the middle, or not.
Yeah, well, it's good to put something. I mean, as you say, other legions have definitely gotten
more attention,
nuance. Yeah, well, yeah, of course, more attention. But I mean, like the nuance to them, like World Eater is one of the biggest examples, of course, because originally they're just like crazy, bloodthirsty murder monsters, and they still are. But at least they have a bit of the, Angron's, part of the reason why he's so angry and everything, and he really being forced to abandon his one of the other gladiators back when the Emperor just picked him up and said, "No, you're coming with me now." Right, yeah, and I haven't read many of the books, well, any of the 30k books actually, but yeah, I hear about these things. It's like, oh yeah, okay, that's
pirate, but I can give you them theoretically. Theoretically, well, I mean, I don't know. I might have them.
Maybe anyone might have them somewhere.
Yes,
the power of the internet compels you.
The power of the chaos gods,
right?
The crabbed chaos.
What you're saying is you can link me to a good website where I can purchase them, right?
That's
exactly
what he's saying.
Purchase with communist fun bucks that don't exist. But
yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
yeah.
We're heavy on communist fun bucks over here.
Everybody
exactly. You get communist fun bucks too.
We all get communist fun bucks.
That's actually how communism works.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I've had first-hand experience. It's great.
So look forward to the after show where that may fall into your lap.
Yeah, I would rate it low on Yelp. The Yelp review for communism is probably not great.
The Yelp review for communism. Right. I guess that kind of fits into the white card.
It's okay. Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, yeah.
Mongolia conquered China.
Without going too far into the political scope and schemes of things, because we could, but there's no need for that.
For sure.
The 30k books. I don't think there's too many 40k books with white scars either, though. Like
there's a couple of them, like when they hunt a demon prince that angered them.
Right,
that's the only
one I know of is that one there. It's like is it a demon prince of Korn or Tzeentch? I think it's a Tzeentch one.
Is it Tzeentch? It might be. I just don't remember.
I think it's a Weaver of Fate, but even then, it's like that's it. Like I either had short stories of them, but I've seen them much more as far as like models and on the tabletop than I've ever actually seen. Like flavor or fluff wise, like they're just, they just, I guess they let the visual do the representation more than anything. Like, hey, what's not to like, right? Guys with giant glaives on bikes, more for the most part.
Yeah, if that's what you want, you'll like it.
Why wouldn't you like it? Yeah. But I think overall the 30k books have the few that there are for them have done a decent job giving you at least what they look like in the the 31st millennium. Some interesting characters there, and then obviously we talked about like the Terrans and the Chogris natives, and then within that, when they make that decision, when they have that conflict where I don't even know if it's a full half of the Legion, but a good part of the Legion.
It's like 40%. It's like a good chunk.
Right. They were like, they try to tilt they're like, well, if Chagatai isn't going to make the call, then we'll force his hand to join with Horus. And that doesn't go well, obviously. They end up becoming the Sagar Maizan, and that's where we get Hibu Khan, because he's one of the Sagar Maizan. And that is basically like after their little uprising was quashed pretty quickly, Khan gives all of them a choice. Like they all get put on trial, and they can either choose to die and like executed, or they
Die
can,
now or die later.
yeah, or die, redeeming yourself. So then the majority of them, not all of them, but the majority of them take that die to redeem yourself, and Jagatai sends them off individually out into the void to wage war against the traitor legions until such a time as they die, and that's where you kind of get the fate for most of them until like the few remnants that survive kind of return and are called back into the fold in Pathway to Heaven. And that's kind of a nice, I was surprised because I was not a fan. Like, just talking about the books, Scars was okay. It was very dry. It gave you some background, but it didn't do a whole lot. There was like one good scene there once the White Scars arrived on Prospero. But the rest of the book was not fantastic. The novella wasn't great, as I said. But Pathway to Heaven surprised me because it was really good, and the stakes were high, and there was a lot of good background information in the book, as well as just delivering as far as I thought on character-wise. So I would recommend that if you guys haven't read that. Pathway to Heaven was a good book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm always up for recommendations of good books.
Yeah, Pathway to Heaven was fun.
Yeah, it is essentially like this is the tail end of, the time out in the galaxy where Khan has realized like his time of running and fighting is ending, and his legion will be crushed, and he has to make for Terra. And it's kind of interesting because it kind of questions like, well, why hasn't he just headed for Terra to begin with? Like, what's taken him so long to get to this point? What internal, terms is he coming to grips with? Like, whatever his internal motives are, why he hasn't gone to Terra right away. And then on top of that, as a legion, like, they have to get to Terra or they will be crushed by the Death Guard and the Emperor's children, who have united in this final like net. And there's like this gambit. How do they travel across the galaxy? And Emperor's secrets are revealed, and it was really good. And it just kept getting better as the plot progressed. So I liked it. I liked it a lot.
It was good.
And
Had fun.
That's where we get. I'll segue into the cards because I think we should talk about the cards. Obviously, I think that's where we got one of the best debut cards for the White Scars was Targetized Sacrifice, which happens in Pathway to Heaven. And obviously, that card is not in the same shape that it used to be. But when the White Scars came out,
Not nearly.
they had that was a very big card for them. It still can be. But
I love the fact that it's so rare, so Targetau could sacrifice himself twice.
Yeah.
I've always laughed at that. It's like, oh no, he gave his life away.
But
Oh, he did it again.
Yeah, when they came out, I think some people thought they were going to be, they'd have something special to them. Maybe like the Sisters of Silence, right? Like the Sisters of Silence don't have any new mechanics. They just have existing mechanics and kind of tuned rally effects. But the White Scars had fast, and they had flank, and they also had some first strike, and that's already in the game. Like, what's not to tie that?
They didn't come with anything new, and an expansion that came with a lot of new. It was weird.
Yeah, and so they delivered. I guess kind of compared to Ruinstorm, who had mutations and demons, overpowered, Kabanda and even Korvax on release, and you had Sanguinius. With the Blood Angels and Landing, and a powerful Reckoning. And then you had the White Scars, who I think even now, even with the recent changes to Jagatai's Reckoning, I think the Warlords, the epics, kind of outshine the Warlord, like the legendary Warlord, but not by a great deal. Just like they're easier to play. Jagatai's got that very high initiative. He starts with one energy less, though, and that's always held him back.
I feel like the energy is too much of a kneecap.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, he can certainly wreck you if he's got if he has the time to get there. When he gets his Warhawk form off, and then he's
if he's got the Dow
act again tactic. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Dow, got the Dow, the Warhawk. If he gets all the legendaries and his Reckoning off, then you probably lose the game.
Right. Yeah.
You're not going to have a fun time.
Right. Yeah. And as I said, I still see him more often on the ladder than the other warlords. In fact, I almost never see the other warlords around.
I
Although
see
in
the Val.
preparation,
I'll play him.
yeah, in preparation, I did play some of the other warlords of the White Scars in preparation for this podcast to get a better impression, because I said I haven't seen them much at all recently. You see Khan every now and then, but none of the other ones. And I do prefer the other ones to Khan. I mean, best results with Chinsa. He's nice and fun.
Mm-hmm.
The randomness hurts a little bit with his ability, but the controlling aspect of being able to control the board and then hit for a giant lethal one-turn kill strike is it really seems to what they really tried to push with the White Scars. I'm a bit worried that what they've done with the Sisters might just completely overshadow. Like, if you're looking to play that strategy, why not just play Sisters at the moment, where they seem to actually do it better? Because of power creep as well, I guess. But they seem to be able to do the same thing. They're a little bit more fragile, but the White Scars are not particularly tough. And they seem to have better flankers and controlling troops than the Scars do.
Yeah, I think the Scars, I mean, they're big cards that they had on launch, and they've only had a couple changes, but they were changes in retrospect. Targetized Sacrifice was the big one, where there was no penalty for that. And personally, I was against the change of that card because I played the faction on release, and I understood that not how necessary it was to their playstyle, but like how very few other tools they had at their disposal, and why that was so important. But also, to counterbalance to that, like, your opponent could very well easily draw the cards that you just put back in their deck and play them for free plus other cards, so you could not gain anything from it. So it wasn't like an instant win. Like, it certainly could tilt things, but if you're playing White Scars as your opponent, you should kind of know that. So they lost that tool because -2 we're taking 2 damage for every unit that you shuffle in. Every enemy unit that you shuffle in, that hurts a lot.
Yeah.
And then I think
You can't.
oh yeah. Oh gosh, what was the other one that they changed? There was like one more card that they changed. I'm trying to think what it is. It wasn't any of the fast troops.
I could find out here in a sec, 'cause I'm trying to remember it too. Quick, Axel, time to use your analyzing.
I think it was just, maybe it was just a special card for Hibu. Like, I don't think that they've had any other changes unless I'm forgetting something. Like, all their tactics I think are the same. Their damage tactics, their fast bikes have all been fast. Their flank, maybe it was one of their flankers, like, lost sneak attack. It was like only for the turn that they came in. Maybe that was something. I'm trying to think.
All right, let's look at this.
Yeah.
All right,
you do the research.
I've done. Okay, I'm doing my research. Let's see. This is the initial one. They just got Target Tau Sacrifice nerf. That was the initial just thing they did.
Right.
But they did another one, and it was, let's see. Jaghole Squad, change description to rally, return a friendly troop to your hand, or give +1 to your warlord. Jabesh Veterans, change description to when a friendly troop returns to your hand or deck, deal 3 damage to a random enemy. Golden Star Rhinos, heal 3 instead of 2.
Got better.
And Close Quarters, change description to return a damaged troop to its owner's hand. If it's a friendly troop, it costs 2 less.
Got better. So
that's when the Iron Hands Ferrous Manus got reworked.
right.
So that was a bit.
They got one card nerfed and other cards buffed or tweaked, but the tweaks were more geared for a play style that they really weren't.
The return to hand one.
The return to hand play style, right? Like, that's not something that they do very well. Like Kinza, like Duke, you mentioned, like, Kinza can have that one turn where he bursts and wins. He can do that in a turn. Like, you don't need to have all the other toys to set up a weird wombo combo. Like, I remember there was one of the guys I was talking to way back when they first came out. We were thinking about, like, how could you do this and make a bounced nerdlings or something where you're just like wrecking them just for having guys go back to your hand. And it always came down to, like, yeah, but at 7 energy, you can just use Kinza's card and really start to hit your lethal mark at that point with the Outriders and a fast troop, and then you're good to go. Like, I don't know. I
wish Return to Hand was more of a gimmick they did.
Yeah, that's amazing to me that they've only really had that one change, but it was significant enough to I don't know, not necessarily sideline them, but kind of undercut their performance since.
The returning to hand, it really seemed what they tried to push for, and the trouble is replaying your troops for the extra, for the cost. It's not the best thing you can be doing, is it?
No.
Would you spend the energy to put another troop back into your hand and then have to pull it back out again? Often for a discount, sure, but sometimes it's just better to have that board presence to keep getting the damage right to the end. It really, from having tried to play it, it really seems like, as I said, like Chingsa being able to just drop everything in one turn and blow you up with that is how you actually want to be doing it, instead of like the devs are obviously trying to go for, like, they'll dash out, they'll hit the enemy, they'll rush back to your hand, they'll repeat that over and over again. They won't know what's going on. Oh my god, you just have infinite card advantage in your hand, and that doesn't happen like that because you have to spend the energy every turn.
Right.
You're better off just playing whatever fast troop meets the energy curve that turn, leaving it to die, and maybe it gets a second hit in, maybe not, but you get it. You play on curve, get your troop out, and then do the same the next turn. It seems to be the better way to do it than,
And you force your opponent to spend resources on whatever you've left on the board as opposed to against your warlord.
Yes.
Like,
right.
I think there's a couple things there with that style, because you can play the troop over again, and if it's a faster flank, great, you get faster flank again. But they don't have any other rally effects. Like the ones that rally and heal are your frontline troops. Those are ones you're not going to want to put back in your hand. There's no ones that increase the cost of your opponent's tactics or remove frontline from an enemy troop. Like they're ones like, okay, I want to hit with it, and I'll get it back, and I can hit with it again, or I could just leave it and hit with it again, or force my opponent to hit against it. That's it's not necessarily counterproductive, but it's really like you're spinning your wheels at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which is I guess not suggestion, because I'm not suggesting this to anyone at the moment, but my theory about how they could actually make that work is that troops, or even your warlord, has maybe give them a keyword that they have been lacking this entire time, something along the lines of, I don't know, hit and run or something. It doesn't matter what the name is, but anytime you return a troop to your hand, you get a bonus. Anytime you return a troop to your hand, deal 3 damage to the enemy warlord. Do 3 damage to a random enemy, something like that.
Kind of like pack, but instead of when this unit acts, just when a unit is returned to your hand. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that's exactly like pack. Yeah, pact. No, pack. No, it is pack. I said pact. Exactly like that. But they return a troop to your hand, you get the effect. Maybe to represent your warlord doing the same thing, returning a troop to your hand gives him precognition or stealth or something. So if you decide to take the extra step and return a troop to your hand, then your warlord's gone to your hand too, in some way, so that they can't attack him next turn.
Right, he's like faded from the fight, essentially. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that kind of, then again, as you said, the issue is, okay, you've returned your troops to your hand. Now your warlord's sitting there by himself, and the enemy's like, oh, well, I might as well dump all these tactics on your face then, right? Mm-hmm. If you're precognitively warded or something, then they can't do that, and then they if they want to spend their energy, they do have to deploy some troops. At which point, like, sneak attack, hit and run, and you could really feel like you're a White Scar biker riding out there, and the enemy's not sure where to hit, and they put troops down anyway, and then they get sneak attacks in the side, and then the enemies fade into the distance again. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, and it kind of ties to that whole concept, like you said, with the power creep, right? Because that's very similar.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
To what the Sisters have got. The Sisters of Silence have just got those things built in. Like, we've got sisters who rally and they deal extra damage, or they destroy units, or they gain flank, or they add attacks, or like they synergize. And it's not. I don't think the White Scars don't synergize well. I think they do synergize very well. But in terms of overtuned synergy, they don't have that. And their stuff is really contingent on playing the troops. Like, there's not a whole lot of. you return to your hand. Okay, you got to play it again. So if it's a troop that you're not gaining anything from playing, if it's just like, oh, it's a 5/4 body that doesn't have a rally effect, isn't fast, isn't flank, why would you play it?
Yeah, there's no reason to play it again from hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think Jubal Khan is probably, and he's a legendary. That's the one where he comes in, he damages, and then you can pay to put him back in your hand, and he damages. That's probably the best example of, like, if they could put that on more of their cards, or even a warlord who kind of can key in on that and synergize more with that to make that more effective, you might see that play style, that bounce play style, work. Otherwise, your best bet is just to play the low-cost troops, get to 7 energy with Kinza, and just go from there. Like, 7 energy is the magic number where both Kinza and Hibu Khan take off. Hibu Khan's got the Sagir Maizan, which is basically an upped attack. But the cool thing I like about that is if your opponent leaves a troop on the board, even early in the game, you can just throw that on there, and then that's more damage. And it's got the backlash. It's going to go back to your hand. Late game, you can throw that on to a fast attack, and it hits for 6 instead of 5, or instead of 4, or 5 instead of 3. And his ability is a little less forgiving than Kinza's, because Kinza's is random, but there's no kickback, whereas Hibu Khan has got that kickback damage.
Yeah, that's true.
Between the two of them, I think Kinza has more combo potential, but I enjoy playing Hibu Khan. Like, I played him quite a bit for fun. And
Sad we didn't get Solomon Khan.
Yeah, I don't know.
The fact that Solomon Khan's unit got added in is funny.
Yeah, the Centurion Knight or whatever it is. As far as warlords go, like, if you had to, when you were playing at the time, how did you stack up Solomon Khan versus Hibu Khan?
Oh, it was Hibu all the way.
Yeah, I thought so. Because I like the Sagir.
I wanted Solomon, though.
Solomon was cool, and his ability, if I recall correctly, was it 1 or 2 energy to give +1 attack to a unit?
I think it was 1 energy, or I can't remember.
I mean, it was
I'm not
it was
recalling
relatively it was relatively like low key, but he came with that Centura Knight card that he could just play, and then you could get a Centura Knight frontline.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
unique.
Yeah,
it was a special card that made a body.
Yeah,
I don't think, as you said though, I don't think he was the way to be playing the event usually.
no,
I think it was either,
especially because
it was either Hibu or Chingsa was the.
Yeah, those guys were the go-to, and that was before we had draft, so there was 2 decks.
Sure,
These are the decks to go for. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, talking about Jagatai Khan, before we get into the rest of the card pool, because we're still kind of hung up on the Warlords, because I think the Warlords, at least I think the epics are good. Jagatai Khan, I don't understand why they don't just take away the start with -1 energy and then raise his reckoning by 2. Like, why not? Like, just if you're going to give him the energy, let him play the game normal, and then just his reckoning will still kick off late game, but he'll be able to play early game on the same footing as somebody else. Whereas, like, right now, if he matches against Kalidas Assassin and draws the short stick and goes second, and then Kalidas Assassin goes into Lucretia or Saul Tarvitz mode.
Oh man,
yeah, that'd be rough.
Like, he's got a counterattack, but that's still not great. I mean,
or forget about that. What if they also playing that new card that also reduces your energy by
Ground.
1?
Oh, Desolated Ground.
Absolutely.
Oh,
That's
man,
the one.
yes.
Yeah.
And
you could have some toxic builds.
I've seen screenshots.
You could be 4 energy behind on turn 2 or 3 or something.
Yeah, I've seen screenshots of fails putting Jagatai Khan still down in the dumps because they Asteroid Sanctuary, they Desolate Ground, and then they're at like 6-7 energy and he's at 2 or 3. It's like that's unfortunate. It shouldn't be like that for anybody, but it really shouldn't be like that for the guy who's going very fast.
For a man whose gimmick is speed, he should not be that slow.
Yeah.
I understand the gimmick of we want to reduce his energy because he'll be too powerful, but is he really though?
No, he's not. So he gets sneak attack. Is that he has to pay for it, and he doesn't get the can act again unless he has the skilled rider legendary card. So. And even then, if he has a skilled rider legendary card that gives him can act again, he has to pay 2 energy to give himself sneak attack again. So, is that really that powerful? Like, I don't think it is compared to other warlords starting at 3 attack or with a first strike with some of the special cards that they've got on there, it just doesn't seem to be on the same level. I'd like to see that get redone at some point. I don't know if we will, but I think it's well deserving. I don't think anybody would complain.
No. There are some people who still hate Khan, because Khan really ruins some troop builds, but...
It's well deserved.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
If he goes off, you know what's going to happen. You have one way to deal with it, or you just have to accept that he got his reckoning off, and
he got his win con. It's not that much different than Word Bearer. Man, I make analogies of Word Bearers a lot. Buffing up the troop at 80.
Curses.
Yeah, or Curse hitting double Apotheosis or Vengeful Spirit.
Right, yeah, that's
energy. Like
that's fun to deal with too, of course.
Yeah. Like, that's what you're going to get. Like, if they get to that point in the game, that's the risk you run. And if you can't beat them by that point in the game, then you need to change your build. You need to prep for that. If you're encountering that many cons at that point where, oh man, all I see is cons and all he does is this, well, then maybe you need to play a faster deck.
Yeah, if all you see is cons, then maybe you need a spec against con.
Yeah.
But then again, how often do you see con?
You don't. Well, I mean, unless you do. Duke apparently sees him all the time.
Duke's swimming in cons.
I said a few. I said a few times. I mean, it was my point. My point being, he's the only one I ever see because I never see Jinsa or I never see Hibu or I never see them. I occasionally.
Okay, I run into more target tie than I do the rest of them because I hang out in low Terra practice.
Okay.
No,
but I ran against one that was an all-tactic deck, and he was just spamming his ability. I was like, okay, buddy. I'm going to win this because I'm a Vulcan, but okay.
Yeah, that's not a great... I mean, his ability is okay. I get it. It's not bad. It's not great either. I would like to see it get changed at some point. For Targetai being, one of the chief librarian characters in the setting at the time, like very potent psyker, obviously like a huge confidant to Jagatai Khan, like his actual ability and his low health is really kind of, I don't know, like it's a little sad. Like the damage 1 to 3 random, I would rather be 2 to 3 if it's a tactic, but I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm just not a fan of Targetai as much as I am the other two warlords.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It would be nice if he had a special card or something going for him, or maybe if Targetai Sacrifice was a special card.
Mm-hmm.
They do seem to be bending things towards putting special cards to most warlords. It looks like the ones coming out.
I agree.
I would love to see more special cards,
which is cool.
Yeah,
I have no complaints against that.
Right, it really does set them aside, doesn't it? Like every warlord having their own special would make it much more important who you're choosing to play as. But
yeah, and they have said before they want more Argyle Tall like warlords, where it's include this many decks for a transformation.
Right.
So I'd love to see another rare that's a dual warlord.
That would be cool.
How Loken could be like that. Include so many blank, become Cerberus. Anything to make stuff more unique.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, do that for Garo even.
I don't know. Do we see resurgence of Cerberus with the agents of the?
They have told us they don't plan on putting Garo and Loken in because it would end confuse new players.
Yeah, I had forgotten that. Yeah,
which upsets me because I hate the term confuse new players.
I don't think it's that confusing. I mean, you can already have Angron fighting another Angron. I mean, no new players sitting there going, "Oh my god, what's happening? Is Angron a clone? I don't understand the lore." I don't know. If we were to have agents Loken fight, where's he from? Where's the faction? So, how am I forgetting the Sons of Horus? Why did I forget that? Of course, Sons of Horus Loken. I don't think anyone's getting so confused about that they just quit the game and never look back or something. But
yeah, the agents of the Sigilate. I don't think we're going to get any of the characters that have already been redone or reprinted. But that doesn't mean we wouldn't get some that, I don't know, it's possible we might get them in events, maybe, as event warlords,
Yeah, they bend the rules with events all the time, yeah.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, if the event that they're doing whatever they're basing the event on, the storyline of the event they're basing it on, if Loken was a key player in that, for example, then it'd be really weird if we put him in Sons of Horus, you can't use him in an event. You're just going to have to, you just imagine he's there,
He's in there somewhere. Like him and Nocturne Cruz.
Use your imagination.
We
Yeah.
saw those guys at the. I think in the Defenders of Caliban, they had a brief tag, but Loken has got his story arc. He's got a couple missions that he goes on that are important. So I think we'll see him, whether it's in Loken form or in Cerebus form. I don't know, but should be interesting. No, when it comes
I actually have the Cerberus form
for a day.
Yeah, you're a mod.
Yeah, you've got the Crucible stuff.
1 energy, deal 1 damage to a random enemy 3 times.
That's not bad. It's
not great either.
No, it seems like
I think. Actually, no. That was I was looking at that, going, hold on, that's not a Chris. How that's so weak for what? And then I just realized they must have reset Cerberus.
Yes,
because when they reset
because he had sentenced the Warlord had Warlord had sentenced 2 or something.
Because I always forget that.
That's not.
I bring that up whenever people go, "Oh man, you guys should make this warlord a Chris." They can't make pre-existing warlords, and if they do an event one, the minute he comes back to events, you can't use him anymore.
Yeah, so
like people don't seem to understand
that happened this event. This very event. I mean, we bloody what's his name? Corrupted Grolgor.
Oh yeah,
they put in the April Fool's one.
That was hilarious. Like, I missed that. I think it was a couple days before I got in to start playing, and like people still had like Crucible boss Grolgor as their event warlord. Well, it's like, oh boy.
Luckily, it wasn't like Crucible level Grolgor. It was April Fool's Grolgor, which we were allowed to take onto the ladder and mess around with there. But so he wasn't overbalanced or anything. It didn't make a lot of sense for new people. Apparently, they were kind of very confused about what demon meant and stuff.
Was it confusing to new players?
Yeah, it was. It was confusing new players. That's why this is why every guild does these things, Axel. But yeah, screenshotting my Cerberus and dropping him. You can see he still has Battle Honor, Rage, and Relentless.
Interesting
tags, but he has been edited to not have that anymore. I was looking at that going, hold on, that can't be Crucible. But yeah, that means he's showing.
Yeah, I wonder if we're
putting him in an event.
In the event, then as a result of that, it makes sense to me.
We must be, because that's why they've changed it. They don't want to make a Grolgor incident again, so they've done it in advance this time.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So without even realizing it, we stumbled upon a spoiler for the event.
All right, conspiracy is revealed right here.
It's live on the Warp Chatter podcast.
You never know.
Only here, Warp Chatter exclusive. Yeah.
You get a couple of those. I forget the guy who does the conspiracy podcast, but we'll take a page out of his book.
Joe Rogan?
I'll just try. What's his name?
Does he start with an A? It starts with an A, doesn't it?
Yeah, A. Sorry, Axel. I keep on thinking Axel now. I'm seeing your name on the screen. You know how it does that when you're trying to think of something else, and your brain's insisting that. Oh no, it's Axel. I promise. Alex Jones. That's the one.
Yes.
Yeah, Alex Jones, my homie. People call me Alex when they read my username, and it upsets me sometimes.
And you've got the J right next to it, so that's
the J. Yeah. That must be why.
Axel Jones.
There you go.
I'm no longer Axel Jaxel, the Axeman Manning. I'm now Alex Jones.
Axel Jones Manning. Yep. We're getting back to the White Scars with the Warlords. If we're just we'll close the book on the Warlords side. Which of the 4 are your favorite, or which one is the one that you prefer the most?
Jing Chai, I think his name is pronounced. I can't do those types of pronunciations. The man who wears the really cool Terminator samurai armor.
Right. If I don't know, the XA doesn't make. I haven't seen that in Chinese, but the QIN should be Chin.
Chin. Okay, he's cool. I like his gimmick ability. His aesthetics please me. I love his voice, and I like his special card. Overall, great warlord. Or does he have a special card, or am I getting confused?
Yeah, he's got the return your troops to your hand, and then cost by 2. Yes.
I forgot if that was Hebo's or his. Yeah, I like that card. That's a fun card.
Yeah. How about you, Duke?
Yeah, no, he's my favorite too. I back when the White Scar event dropped, everyone was going on. The tank was particularly overpowered and just wrecking the poor White Scars. Their debut. They were meant to. that meant most legions crush their debut event, don't they? Except the White Scars, unfortunately, released to the glaive tank from the Alpha Legion, which was just wrecking everyone who's playing the glaive. But I was able to find a good Chinsar deck that actually wrecked the glaive. So I farmed that event with Chinsar, and so I've got even without his current form in the ladder, he got a bit of a soft spot for him. So
Yep. I agree. I think he's a solid warlord. Both him and Hebu have got something going for him, but the fact that he combos very well and his end game is very you've got a lot of options in terms of how you play your pieces, and depending on what you've got in your hand, how you throw it down, you can get it back into your hand. I like the range that it's got there. His ability's okay. I mean, it's really not about his ability. It's about using his special in supporting with the cards, like the troops that he's got in his deck. And I think that's cool, because I think the whole focus on the Jagathai Khan being like a mono warlord and you get all the legendaries. Well, that's great, but you don't need all the legendaries with Kinza. I think you could not have the Dao and not have Skilled Rider, and maybe not even have the 8 energy legendary, although I think that's a nice hard removal option. But you could pass on 3 of those and build a really nice deck with him.
In fact, my Chinsar deck does not include. I think it includes. Yeah, no, it does include Hawkeye, but none of the other legendaries. I don't think. Jubal Khan, I've got him too.
Jubal Khan's good.
But no Dao, no Skilled Rider. So it's good, fairly budget deck, because Jubal and Hawkeye could be exchanged for something else.
Yeah,
maybe
Hawkeye is just good because most times you'll use it as a hard removal. It'll take something out.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
and even if it doesn't,
very nice.
It's already overstated. Yeah, it's 8/9 for 8. That's already overstated. Not by a lot.
And so
I'm not complaining, but that's good.
No, but it has as what's it called?
A rally?
Ashen Bones tacked onto it. So
some Ashen Bones and a big old body. And
so
if you're
consider
playing
Ashen Bones,
that works.
Ashen Bones is 3. That's you getting an 8/9 for 5.
Yeah, not bad.
No, it's very nice.
I'll take it.
Jubal Khan being another good body for a 6 energy, you get 5/6 with a 3 damage rally. That's a strong legendary troop.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that, his rally is mediocre compared to something like the Knight Romuel from the Dark Angels, but the fact that he can go back and actually deals more damage going back to your hand, that basically it's a troop that you're going to deal 3 damage to anything, and your opponent has to deal with it, or they're going to take more damage on the next turn. I like that. I've always enjoyed that play.
Yeah.
And even if you don't use his return to hand thing, he still does 5 damage.
Still 5 body on the board. Exactly.
Yeah.
And the Scars have got a lot of tactics that deal damage or draw cards. Like they've got they've got Swift Strike, they've got the Skyfire Thunderhawk, they've got the 4 energy Thunderhawk. Yeah, they've got all the fast trips. So they've got a lot of ways to just burst out damage. I think the biggest hard counter to them is really, it's not stun, because you can not attack with your, unless you're doing like a mono Jagatai build, like you can have troops that do pump out lots of damage just fine. I think frontline is the biggest thing that goes against them, and I think that's one reason why with Desperate Defense as a build, as a very popular common build, especially and Desperate Defense decks that can get Desperate Defense off at 7, 8 energy or 10 energy when you're sitting at 6 energy. I think that's one facet of why the White Scars kind of have not gotten as much notice lately, because you put up a big giant 10 Desperate Defense, 2 shielded frontline troops. All right, I guess I won't play my fast 3 attack troop, this turn with anything buffed to it. Or you could play Targetized Sacrifice, I guess, and take 4 damage as opposed to 20 on your next turn. But then your opponent just plays Desperate Defense again. So I think that's one thing where it's kind of hard to say, because I think on a release, and for quite a while, I enjoyed the faction. I still think that the faction has got a very solid card pool. There's a couple cards in there that I'm not a huge fan of, but they're not bad. They synergize well. They all do something fast and damaging and hitting hard. I think it's just they're kind of a casualty of war with the way the meta is.
No, I think you're completely right. That not being able to break a very strong front line is really a big issue for them. Stormlance is kind of pricey. If there were desperate defensing, there would be 2 there, so it would only cost 5 for sure. But then, the second Stormlance, you can't take care of the second one.
Right.
Target sacrifice, as you said, if you don't have it ready, or even if you do, hey, maybe they can still desperate defense back the same ones you put down, or desperate defense, draw the one you put back into the deck and play it for 0. So now you got 3 to deal with in one turn. So the games I lost, desperate defense was a big part of them. Not all, of course, but big part of many of them. Because you can't chip away at they are understated, a lot of them, to help deal with the fact that they are fast, for example. And so when it comes to trying to chip down a giant big front line, they don't do so well there.
Yeah, staying power, typically you've got a lot of them have just got 6 health. Like there's a couple that have got 8 or 9, but the majority of the ones that you can pump out for fast are like 4 to 6 health tops.
Yeah, and even they don't even have a lot of attack really. They can be buffed, but not to the degree where you're trying to deal with 2 10-10s or something. You got the let's see, quick look here. Void bikes. The rally gains 2 a turn, so that's 6 or 4. But they're gone after you played them because they're getting eaten by the front line. The void bikes that doesn't even work. Oh no, sorry, they still got flank. But a 4-6 for 6. What's that going to do against a bloody abominable intelligence or something? Really, they run into a big frontline issue, and maybe it should be a problem for them. They need a weakness after all, but desperate defense being so meta right now is really they can't be so meta. I don't think. I really do want to, as you said before. I agree with everything you said. I really do want to like them, and I did play them for a long time after release. But they're not the standard right now. Really,
that's not an option right now.
Yeah. I think. I have fun with them, but they're not something that you can just play and like, hey, because you're going to see those games. You're like, oh, well, I guess they're going to hit their wall off, and then at this point, it's either a losing game or maybe you hit them in the face enough times before 8 energy where they've only got. You can use your tactics to hit them behind enemy lines. If you have tactics, I've seen some players that don't run the tactics. For me personally, I think running two of both of the Thunderhawks is a must. But that's my preference.
Yeah, Thunderhawk seems.
Yeah, the reach on both of those, plus the nice conditional of the Korma Thunderhawk to be able to get you a vehicle if you used it to destroy a troop is nice because all your vehicles are good. I think for a little bit, and to some degree, there's still got some juice with the Forbidden Protocols being added, because that was the first faction I went to when it was like, oh, this can
good thinking.
Increase the stats of vehicles. Well, guess what? All my troops in this deck are fast vehicles. What's not to like?
Yeah, you can have some fun. Bloodthirst, you're lucky.
Yeah, the downside is it's one card, it's one legendary, but there's also card drawing within the faction, so it's
and the randomness.
The randomness is a big thing. I've had games where like, oh, it's plus 1, plus 2, thanks, that's it, and then you get those other ones where it's like, here we go.
Yeah,
you got Bloodthirst, you got
Survivor. I can imagine putting getting what's it called, Terror on the Golden Keshik, for example.
Ooh, yeah, that could be wrecked in some games.
That would be.
That'd be GG if you can't remove it.
Yeah.
Wait, can Forbidden give ward? It can.
Yes.
Oh
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can.
No.
that would be almost completely undestroyable, except maybe to targetized sacrifice.
That's the only way to get rid of it.
This might come as a shocker. Word bearer players, I can say for a fact that you can also just give the troop a little something called Fierce Onslaught, and it will suddenly turn any troop that has anything that will prevent it from taking damage into a large threat.
The Golden Keshik already does that, right?
Oh, it's already got it built in. But you also have a normal troop that really no one uses that has First Strike, the 5/4, gain +2 when your opponent has no troops. If you can keep him on the board and give him Fierce Onslaught, he could do something. It's not often you'll see that happen, but something can happen there.
Yeah, I've never played with Head Taker, you're talking about the 5 epic, the 5 energy epic?
Yeah, that's the one. Head taker.
Town.
Yeah. The poor guy who got
Yep.
debuffed before he even got
Yeah,
released.
because
His
wasn't
reveal
he like
card was.
he was like a 6 attack or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was at least a 5/5. I think it was.
Yeah, he was like, all right, this is decent for the body, and then you're like, oh, it's conditional. Okay, I guess I just don't play with him because he, like we talked about, like, I mean, he's not a fast troop. He's a troop that you put on the board. He's definitely not a troop that has a rally effect or that you're going to want to bounce. So he kind of has a weird place.
There was a way to give him flank or fast. Boom, beautiful.
Yeah, which ironically the sisters do. So they're doing White Scars better than White Scars.
Yeah. Well, like for the con, for instance, right? Get +2/+0 to your units this turn. Meanwhile, the Sisters of Silence have got something that gives, fanatic discipline, and it also gives sacrifice, deal 2 damage. Okay.
Yes, yeah. It's exactly the same except better.
In every sense of the way.
There was, and common versus rare or whatever. But at the same time, I mean, that's a pretty big. It's a big, big advantage.
Yeah.
That was one of my spoilers, and that was my favorite card I spoiled. It's a big bomb, and you can get it off. And as you say, here's another power creep. How about the counterattack? White Scar counterattack +1/+0 to a friendly unit this turn.
Right.
Sisters get +1/+1 forever.
Yeah.
I also said that about what was it? Death Guard.
And
earlier today I was talking about that. I was like, oh, you want to see something? Look at Death Guard. Look at Sisters counterattacks. It's like it's different. The only good thing Death Guard's got is it works on the Warlord, but then it's still just one.
Yes. Yeah.
It's still not Salamander bad though, so
I think Salamander is now the low hanging fruit on that, or low hanging fruit is the wrong colloquialism.
Yeah,
probably just like the low bar.
Because Salamanders were so overpowered before.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh yeah, dude, unstoppable. No one could beat him.
I'll tell you. You know how many times I've beaten people with Nemator?
Is the number more than once?
Going for the low-hanging fruit among the low-hanging fruit, then, are you?
Well, I mean, hey, I'm just saying, I've won 6 out of 8 games with Nemator. It's possible. That's all I'm going to play is 8 games. I might play 2 more just to get to that 10, but...
we do enjoy ripping on the Salamanders for being often considered the worst, but back in my day when I was doing more tournaments and stuff, was it myself, Orc Boy, whatever he goes by at the time, Gorestomper, I believe. That's Orthanol, yeah, Orc Boy. And I believe Maxiomo, but we took in the faction tournament where you had to choose one warlord for a faction. You had to play that with the rest of the other players who chose 2 other warlords from your faction against the other people, other teams playing. Alpha Legion team, for example, or the Word Bearers team, whatever. We got Salamanders to 2nd place.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
but that was Orthanol playing Nemator, so he's one of the better players in the game. And that was back in my Numion days, and I still use Numion as everything.
I would never guess you played Numion.
No, really. Why would you say that? Yeah.
But,
it
really came out of left field.
Ever since he got debuffed, he hasn't been feeling too well.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that extra card, he really needs it.
Yeah, we talked about this before, where like some of the warlords who had extra cards, I don't know if there's too many left who still have them.
Thinking, does Nemiel still have his?
Nemiel still has his.
Okay.
Erlin has lost his. Numian lost his. I don't know if Garrow has an extra card.
It was a common buff for a while. No, not buff, I guess, but a common way of making the green warlords a bit stronger. But they seem to have gone a different way.
Which I'm okay with, because I think you're like, okay, you give the extra card to the rare warlords, and then you give different initiative, because that initiative was the next kind of level. And now we've got counterattack, so then you kind of factor that in. So maybe the extra card isn't needed so much. But in some warlords, without like Erlin, like there's no doubt about it. Like without him having the extra card, or without Numian having the extra card, like the results are clear. Like it makes a big difference.
Oh, for sure. Like I was.
Oh yeah.
Back when I was playing Numion, the very first what they do, they started releasing stats of how well warlords were doing. Mm-hmm. To everyone's surprise, except myself and the few other people who were actually playing him, Numion was number one in the win rate.
Yeah, his win rate was very good. Like, I mean, especially like his first couple turns. Like, if he stuck the right troop, man, that's it. It's a battle for you. The game.
It was all about that. It was all about the first few turns and making sure you never lost the board presence, basically, which he was very good at doing. You had to play very. You couldn't just aggro him onto the. You had to play very carefully, choosing when and where to attack, and I think that's part of the reason why he wasn't more widely played, despite how strong he was, because there was a bit of you had to understand your matchups and what you'd expect the person to be playing, and when you needed to save various things. But yeah, when you got that, I mean, that was I played Numion for months and months as winning tournaments, and as I said, we got Salamander's second rank in the faction war.
Impressive.
Yeah, because everyone says Salamanders was the worst faction, and we got them all the way to. Well, and we lost to Alpha Legion in the end.
And that time, I think that was before Vulcan had the create a troop, right?
Yeah,
it was just like he just created.
Yeah, that was
create a troop. So
that was originally. That was before we got a second level of buffs because we got some early stuff. Epistolary got his attack increased and a few other small buffs here and there, but that was before the second set of buffs that really made people stop complaining about them so much. But there was they put up a good showing.
Yeah,
you had to know what you were doing with them. Like that was the thing. Like
that was it.
Sacrifice or survivor. Like you had to know these are the troops. This is what I have to play. This is what I have to expect too. Because there was nothing you hate more than having it sabotaged or your 3 health troop gets hit by a face strike from your warlord plus the Agnaman from the not the Agnaman but the 4 energy tactic from the Emperor's Children, or Angron just destroying whatever you had, like, and somehow you have to figure out a way to keep that pressure up, otherwise you run out of steam. Like, I played Numian for a while. I don't know if it was at the same time or if it was before or after that. I played him for a while. That was fun, but it definitely was like there were some games where it's like, okay, like you have to think 2 or 3 turns ahead because you knew what your opponent was playing. And I think in general, some players just don't want to do that. Not everybody. I mean, I think there are some decks. That's why some of the Angrons or Knights or whatever, people just want instant turn rewards.
They want to get their daily wins over and done with.
Yeah.
And Numion definitely was there for grinding, and I think that's another reason why the extra card. That Salamanders do not have a lot of card draw.
Yes,
and
that's true.
So we need to dip into neutrals to get it, and you didn't want to do that. You wanted to try and keep as many troops on the board as possible. So dipping into card draw, my best Numion deck was quite a toolbox of one-off cards, which are good for certain matchups. Try and mulligan. I could see who I'm playing against. I'd try and mulligan for that. And having the extra card meant you had more to mulligan with, more chance of getting the right card. I think that's a big reason why they're losing the card.
Like you said, like the
to have no family members.
Yeah, cycling the extra card for the mulligan was a big tool for because like you needed that first turn, or you need at least to know that, okay, if I don't have first turn, I've got a second turn play.
You're right. Yeah. They being able to play something the first turn, possibly the famous Pharaoh's Militia.
Mm-hmm.
That was a common Numion opening.
That's a classic. What's not to like?
Yep. Everyone loved that one.
Like. Well, I mean, little not to like unless you're the victim of.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But no one ever likes being the victim of a play.
I don't know. Are there any terrible plays? Like, I mean, I guess there are a lot of different ways to go. Like with the White Scars, you can you can play a lot of different ways. Your first couple of turns, you're not really on a bad footing. I think there's probably quite a few factions, I think, where that's the case. Or like you're always going to give them like, hey, if I don't have anything else, I'll just use my ability and draw a card or create a card. And because Vulcan gained that create a troop, that was kind of that big void that he had, because especially the teachings were not fantastic, right?
Oh no, they were not.
So I mean, having those first
and
couple
they still aren't.
Yeah, no, I think one of them's worse.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like that, I used to use that other one all the time. Like the return a card to your hand when it dies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the fact that it's no longer return, and what is it? Just gain bonus HP for each
gain one health. Yeah, gain one health for every troop on board.
I would rather use artificer armor.
Yeah, for like 3.
For 3. That's the other thing. 3 energy. It's so it's so wasteful. 3 energy for possibly +1 health.
Yeah, it's
like
there's
a near certain artificer energy is just as much, and it's better.
It's way better. I think it's 4 energy.
Yes,
you get the shield and you get +2 health. And
I do not know what they're thinking. Yeah, I think so. For artificer armor.
Artificer armor, no. Artificer armor is 3 energy, and you just straight up.
Artificer armor is 3. Just straight up double.
I'm thinking.
Yeah,
it's just an upgrade.
I'm thinking of the Dragon Scale Shield. Yeah.
And I get because teachings are free cards. You don't want them to be too strong, but
resilience is a rare.
Resilience
artificer armor, which is a common.
Right. Considering your resilience is the one people complained most about, that made teachings so bad, because you might generate resilience. Like if you generate some of the other ones, you're fairly happy. Like generate sorrow. That's all right. Generate
wait. Which one's sorrow again?
Even give survivor. And draw a card.
So boom, they
got upgraded. It didn't used to draw a card, but even before getting the survivor, that's all right. It's like more expensive than Numion's ability, but
when we're talking about resilience, I just thought of something. I know we mentioned, you kind of mentioned with the bouncing, returning to hand thing. Do you remember when the salamanders came out and resilience and sacrifice and like they stuck on the cards and returned to your hand?
Yes. Oh, that was beautiful. Was back when. Yeah.
Like you but Goldstone Hunters had 3 health, and you could give them sacrifice, return to your hand, and then they would return to your hand, but they would keep the sacrifice ability that you put on them while they were on the board. So it's not like you even had to play it again a second time. So then you would play the next time around, you'd play it where they, like, all your units was to gain sacrifice, draw a card. So then you play down a Goldstone Hunter for 3 energy. He's fast. No conditions. He attacks. He goes back to your hand. You draw a card. Like, what if? And that was a bug issue. But what if they could make that
rebug the game. Yeah.
Rebug the game for the White Scars, where those return to hand effects stay on the card that's returned to hand. Like not just cost reduced. Like give it a rally or give it survivor, give it +3 attack and it returns to your hand. Because we already have cards like that with like Eisenstein, right? Or the
I want to say Eisenhorn too. I do often, or Einstein.
or the terrible
Neither are right.
Emperor's Children, the Arrowhorn.
Oh god, that is a card, isn't it?
I mean, there are a couple of these ones where it returns a card to your hand and it changes the stat or whatever. But like, if they added
obviously it's not impossible
to it with the White Scars and increased the power of those cards being played the second time for less or for this equal, maybe that would make it move in a better direction. I mean, it would still need, I think they would still need to rework like a good 8 or so cards to give enough options to make that a build.
Yeah, because they don't have a lot of buffs at the moment, the White Scars. But
no, they don't.
Yeah, as you say, if it was to make a, if they keep any buffs you were able to give them, would it really be so bad if For the Khan wasn't just a single turn?
Right. If it was just like that.
Is For the Khan just a turn? It is just for this turn. I got very confused. The Sisters one actually is forever, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, and if Outriders was just straight boom forever,
right? Yeah, there we go.
Did you play this turn? That could be interesting.
So yeah, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, he's getting to rebug the game. And while you mentioned, I mean, I don't think Salamanders would wreck completely unbalanced in meta by having their things stick around when they return to hand either.
No, I don't think, especially how few they actually use, that actually use the sacrifice at this point. I think for the most part, the Salamanders are using non-Salamander troops other than Frontline and maybe the Dreadnought and Chaplain and Xavier, Yeah, I don't know. It's something to look into where, like, it just making subtle changes or adding the concept, which can obviously happen, whether it was intentional or not. It can happen. That can make a very different game. Well, with the White Scars pool looked at, and we kind of glazed over the troops and the tactics. I think there's a lot of fast, there's a lot of tactics that do damage. There's a couple of troops that do some interesting things, but they're kind of niche. I think it really kind of hinges on like the special cards for the warlords, and I could be wrong. I mean, I don't have Jagatai, so I can't argue.
Isn't that like one of the last cards you need?
It is the only card I need currently. Well, except for Sisters and Sigillets.
Okay, yeah.
But I can't argue.
You haven't got any Sigillet stuff yet?
No, I have no Sigillet cards as of right now.
You're behind.
I'm so behind. They haven't even come out yet, and I'm behind. But what would you say are your three favorite cards? Like non-warlords, three favorite cards within the faction?
All right, I can go first for this. Storm Lance, simply because no matter what, it's going to be discounted. It's 6E hard removal at the cheapest. Says 70, but you can't hard remove a warlord. So, Jubal Khan, simply because with a powerful rally and then ability, if you can say stealth and win escape vent, guaranteed damage essentially. And then, I have to think for the last one. I want to say Kesheg, the Golden Kesheg, simply because of how many times he's cleared my entire board and left me speechless.
Yeah, no, the Kesheg's one of my choices there, but if you want to do something else.
No, I gotta say Kesheg. He's just too good of a troop, Golden Kesheg.
Yeah, alright, well that's one of mine. Yeah, that's definitely one of mine too. So that's the Kesheg for sure. I probably agree with Jubal Khan too. The Outriders, I guess, because I've been doing a lot of one-turn.
Oh yeah, stuff. Outriders got some fun one-turn potential.
Yes, being able to
screwed over by them the other night.
being able to drop all the Outriders onto the Outriders and all the other troops you've discounted with Chinsar's card onto the table in one turn. Yes, that's quite fun. And there's a lot of third slot choices, I guess. Probably, I was going to say Hawkseye, but the fact that the troop has to be damaged and sometimes bite you. I mean, if they put something shielded down or something, he's left sitting in your hand wishing you could take out the Abominable Intelligence, for example. And probably the other one that's done the most for me, actually, is one of the speeders, like maybe the Void Bikes. They can come in for a 6-attack flank. Just it can surprise wipe something out. I guess similar to the Keshig, right? Mm-hmm. But it comes in a bit cheaper.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Definitely a solid option.
I would say for me, I think for me, the Outriders, quick reaction.
Outriders are good.
Yeah, quick reaction and Outriders. Like, quick reaction buys me the time for to get to 7 energy or to get to 8 or 9 energy to pull off the combos with Kinza especially. But I think that's really important, and it draws a card. Outriders, quick reaction. And I agree. I think the speeders, and there's several to choose from. Like, I love the threes that do 3. Like, they combo very well because when you return them to your hand, they can become a 1 energy or 0 energy, depending on how you played them out. But at the same time, I also like the Kaizagan speeders that can gain cleave too. That are
that's another good.
Those are good too. So like, I don't know. Like, it's a hard call. I would probably say, I'll go in the middle, and I'll take the 4 energy, the Silverblade speeders that, have got that battle honor, return to your deck and draw a card. That's hard because I feel like that's not fair to the other speeders. Their speeders are really what sells it, but I think really, for me, number 1 is Outriders, and number 2 is Quick Reaction, because without Quick Reaction, because Targetized Sacrifice is in the state that it's in, you kind of need some sort of tool to stave off destruction for a turn, and that's the best thing they've got going for them.
Yeah, it's still not the best thing possible, but it's the best they got.
Exactly. It doesn't heal, it doesn't give you ward or anything like that. If Targetai Sacrifice, even if Targetai Sacrifice was just like your Warlord takes takes 1 damage for each unit, that would be my third card for sure, because that is such. I still run it. I still run one of them, but it's not as. It's still important, but it's not as good as it used to be. Obviously,
not even close. But
no.
Also, I didn't choose that. Yeah, I do like it just gets everything off the board. Just gets rid of any trouble for you, and even if you take a bit of damage, damage is health is a resource, right?
Yeah.
But I think I'm 100% convinced that every time I play that card, my opponent just picks up the cards and puts them back on top of his deck. He somehow.
Yeah.
I popped the video and drawn 2 of the cards he got rid of before. Like. Sometimes it just happens.
I would see people rant and like, oh, they Targetai sacrificed all my stuff. I'm like, I just played a game where I sacrificed a Halden Tal and 3 of other Death Guard, frontline, and the next turn they dropped an Imperial Reaper and a Halden Tal on me. So I don't see I don't get these complaints. I'm seeing the other side of it where it doesn't always work.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I'm convinced. Whatever my opponent's doing, they just they're putting directly on top of my deck, on top of their own deck. They're not shuffling.
Right.
Judge.
Yeah. Judge, he just put the cards on top of his deck. He didn't even ask me to cut it. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Or he cut it himself after he watched me cut it.
Right. I'm gonna put
whatever's happening here
with the logo.
I want to know how to do it.
Like the card back is going to be tilted, so these cards are marked.
This is happening here.
Exactly.
I know it's rigged.
He put a very obvious knife in the middle of the deck to hold it open while he.
His sleeves are marked. Can somebody confirm?
Yes. He's literally drawn a picture saying this one on the back of his.
Right. He's put Post-its on all the sleeves.
Yeah.
No way, it's not rigged.
But,
not really. It's not funny when it happens to you. You're just like, God damn it! Can I not get a break?
The other thing is, everyone talks about how stupid it is to be playing trap decks because they're so random and so often the opponent never draws a single trap. I think the reason people do play trap decks is for that one time where every single trap they put into the deck was just directly on top of their opponent's deck.
I've talked about this. The trap decks are popular due to the rush you get from them, where it's like, I'm not winning.
Yeah,
I'm not winning.
exactly.
I'm not winning. You pulled all of them at once, and it did the one win you'll get out of your 10 matches gives you enough adrenaline to want to do more.
Yeah, that's right.
It's for the gambling players. Yes, it's for the players who want that.
I call it the slot machine syndrome because that's what it is.
I'm convinced you're right. Yep.
You're playing a slot machine. That's straight up what people are doing. Some people don't realize that.
Hey, every now and then you get jackpot on those slot machines.
That's true.
Yeah. That's how they keep you hooked.
You get those 3
They can't keep you hooked if you never win.
Yeah, they've got the slot machines, the penny slots in, and they've got like the new slots have got. I don't know if you've seen them. They've been around for a while now, but they've got more than just the one line across the bar, and they've got like 5 bars, and then they've got like 20 lines that link up and go diagonal and zigzag across. So it's a penny slot, but if you hit max bet, it's like $5 for one bet to like max bet on all these lines. It's ridiculous. It's like the biggest scam out there, and you have no idea how they line up or how they win. You're better off just going with the classic, old school 3 bars, bar, 777, cherry.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't gamble. I grew up in Vegas. I know the casinos. That's all I'm saying. I just know what they look like. And if you go to Vegas,
see, I am a gambling man.
Or you go to the casinos, stay away from the penny slots. They're not gonna do you any good. And also, don't play the slot machines that are like Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy. Like those are traps. Like they
don't play the obviously rigged ones.
Well, no, they have those machines. They're like designed to like key in on people's special interests. Like there's like, oh, it's Star Wars. Oh, this is so cool. It's Star Wars, but it's just a penny slot machine. Or it's the same thing. It's like it's all digital. Like slots. I don't know. I'm not a huge expert, so I can't say. But personally, I think that slots are probably your least beneficial, likely way to gamble. Like you're better off playing a table game than you are playing the slot machine.
Life advice with
Jackson
Manning: if you want to go to a casino and have a good time, Slots is not the way to go. Do something fun like blackjack.
Yeah, there you go. You do blackjack. And make sure that while you're there, you take your time, play it out. You get your drinks comped because the waiters and the waitresses, like the casinos, want you to have a good time, so they'll bring over free drinks. Hey, what's not to like?
Exactly.
Well, it even just makes mathematical sense. Of course, the thing which is just a big, a Skinner box, basically. Right. Yeah, big flashy Skinner box is going to be the thing that pays out the least because it's...
And the best part with blackjack is worst case scenario, you're not stealing from other players, you're robbing the casino at the end of the day. So other people are having fun and making their money, and overall it's a good time.
Everybody wins with blackjack. Yeah, if you had to play, we're kind of getting into the whole, like, what do you do outside Legions?
Apparently I still just played blackjack.
Yeah, apparently you just play blackjack. Like, what other games of chance? Not necessarily games of skill. Like, what is your preferred game of chance?
I gotta say blackjack.
Okay. How about you, Duke?
A nice fun card game.
Oh, chance. I'm not even sure. Well, if you're not talking about any kind of pure, not here. It's not even legal here.
I realized where you're located.
Yes. Yeah, it's not even legal
difficult.
here, and yet it happens everywhere.
Yeah.
Doesn't
have to be
that's
legal.
very much. That's China in a nutshell, basically. Everything's illegal.
As long as you don't get caught.
That's it. And basically, everything is illegal, but then people do it anyway. Is basically the motto. Until they want to bust you for something, and at which point, like, they bring up, oh, but by the way, breathing is illegal, and you're just doing it right now. So
we caught you breathing.
Yeah, that's basically how society works. So yeah, I don't play any kind of pure chance games actually, but
what else do you do? What do you like to do to kill some time? Bully people with crucible bosses?
Mainly more. I haven't done a lot of crucible bosses because again, my connection being a bit wonky, it means that I feel really bad if I'm halfway through a crucible match or something and people are and then suddenly I get a disconnect or something. I'm like, sorry. I know you built up that
skyrocket. Everybody's like, just challenge Duke.
Right.
He's gonna DC. That's what's gonna happen. You get the credit.
Yeah, I basically only play when I'm really confident my connection will be fine. Which, to be fair, has been out recently. My connection has been pretty stable, so I could probably go back into a bit more. But we haven't had a new boss for a while either.
Tequila was the last one.
We might be getting Rogel Dawn or Kroll's Reckoning forms. Just as
those are during the combat ones.
Yeah, exactly. Just because the devs are too busy to make a special custom brewed thing. Although there's a bit of potential spoiler. Could be seeing a comeback of the Command Post boss.
Oh, that'd be nice. Command Post was
with
fun.
A lot of structure synergy.
I think a lot of people loved Command Post because it was different. It wasn't beat him. It was don't die.
Yeah.
Well, this one wouldn't be 200 health this time, but it would be
okay.
It would be quite powerful.
Oh, that's always good. Anything Creed has his hands in will be a good Crucible boss, as a general rule of thumb.
Dear God, that man's insane. Oh yeah. You should. The secret Crucible Brewery channel is just Creed putting out all kinds of monstrous.
Our good friend Dorn Stash told me that it's scary and it's just Creed basically going crazy.
Oh yeah. Like I put out ideas which are basically every idea I put out is basically rejected for being not overbalanced enough.
It's like, no, that's too
not overpowered enough. Yeah. And I've come up with some pretty big ones. I want to try and make, we haven't had one so far, an Alpha Legion boss going for heavy mill or something. Every time your opponent draws a card, they discard a card or something like this going on. But and then
Alpha Legionary tank is another
right, one. Yeah, exactly. So try the point being you're milled out by turn 5 or 6 or something like this.
Yeah.
But
you gotta get real
no, everyone's like, no, it's not. Let's make him say every troop has +5 attack, and backlash, destroy the enemy warlord or something. I'm like, okay, all right. Apparently, I'm not evil enough.
No. Yeah. Oh, trust me, Creed's finish. It's what he does in his free time to make others suffer.
Yeah, exactly.
Man.
What else do you do in your free time, Duke?
Well,
try not to get taken away.
Sorry, what's that?
I said try not to get taken away.
Well, there is that. I don't. I keep my head down as much as possible. It can be if we're going to go into a bit of that. Yeah, there's been some times when usually no, I'm not usually worried about directly worried about, I don't know, police or something like this. But there's some been times when they do like to, when there's trouble for the people in charge, they do like to blame hostile foreign forces. Is the common go-to scapegoat for everything. Absolutely everything is hostile foreign forces caused. And there have been times during that when people have gone, ooh, foreigners, like, oh, you damn foreigner, get back to America. Not even from America. Shut up. Which, is not at all discouraged here. Like no one would get in trouble if they were to harass me in the street or something for, like, it's encouraged by the government basically. So
not
exactly, but it hasn't had to be a lot of that because I'm in a fairly safe area for that. Most people here are pretty open-minded. But I have been a few times at bars or something, annoyed by drunk people, or a few, and as I said, a few times people following me down the street, telling me all about I don't know, the Philippine Islands or something.
Yelling China number one at you.
Well, maybe it's putting a shirt or something. But yeah, actually, my main focus these days is I'm actually playing Magic Arena.
Wow.
That's
I heard good things about
my game of choice because, the big reason why is the Legion servers, unfortunately, are heavily affected by whatever they start banning stuff here. I typically need the VPN to get online for the Legion servers, and then the VPN can cut out and I lose my game or whatever. So for a long time there, that's why I kind of stopped playing competitively because I was getting too many disconnects and it was just really frustrating. But the arena servers, actually, to try and pander to China, I guess they have servers here in China, so I can play that just fine. So basically I went reverse. Many people go from Magic to other card games. I went from Legions to Magic is just kind of a way to get a card game fix without
worrying about getting
the DCs or anything. Yeah,
right. Exactly. Which is it's a big big thing. I'm getting back into Legions more now because everything seems to be fairly stable these days. So I don't know if they've got better servers or the government just isn't interested in blocking as much as they were before, or they've just the VPNs have gotten better. I don't know, but it's I haven't had as many disconnects. Like for a while there, it was every day trying to get my dailies done. I'd get 3 or 4 disconnects,
it's gonna be
which is very frustrating. Tanked my win rates, and so I was like, I can't play tournaments. I can't. Yeah, I kind of gave up more or less. And I've had a bit of a break there from Legions, and back into it since Dark Angels expansion or so. But I've been getting into Magic fairly heavily. Just this weekend, I played in the tried to get into the big tournament with the qualifier. It was 1 game short.
Oh, but I was gonna say, are they doing pro qualifier stuff online?
Yes, that's what it was. It was I got if you get in the top ranks of the ladder, basically you get an invite to a pro qualifier, and you get to get 7 wins before you over 2 days. 7 wins before 3 losses, and then second day 7 wins before 2 losses. And I got my second loss on the second day at 6 wins. So didn't get that one, but it does mean I'm qualified for the next one. So I keep trying. Really, actually, I can blame Legions for. I was really much a single player gamer until I was not interested in competitiveness or anything. But then picked up Legions just one day, and it doesn't have a single player choice. And I was like, I kind of like this card game thing. I'll give this a try. And then
cover that. How did you stumble upon Legions? Because most people have a different story.
Yeah, all right. Fair enough. Let's go with that. I found it on my phone one day. I must have downloaded it at some point. I tend to do that. Is just download stuff onto my phone.
Like,
right, exactly. Yeah. It was a mysterious map I found in the attic. I was going to when my wife was pregnant with our son. We took a break off any work or anything, so I could stay just before she gave birth and all that. And so I was just I was outside doing some, trying to get some exercise in, and walking around. Just going through my phone, I was like, this little Space Marine face. I'm like, I must have downloaded that at some point. I guess I was, I haven't played 40k for ages or anything, but I guess I saw at some point. Maybe I got given an invite somehow through other people from 40k, and they just sent me this thing, and maybe I downloaded it. Like, oh yeah, well, looking for something to do. I'll open this up and played the tutorial. As I said, found like, I kind of like this card game thing. I'll give that a try. Played a bit more. And yeah, I stuck with the same Loken deck for a very long time. And didn't even look at event because I don't like giving up in-game currency. And to me at the time, the tickets were kind of like, I don't want to give these up. These are my precious tickets I've been earning, saving. I don't even know what event does, but so I think the very first, right, basically, eventually, like I think the very first event I played was the Iron Hands launch. Like I wasn't keeping up enough of the game to. I was playing, playing the opening Loken deck basically on ladder as high as I could get it, and then this one day looked over event and like, oh, new Iron Hands. I'll drop one ticket on this, see what it does. Get and then I guess I went online, found the Discord to try and figure out what's this event? What am I doing with this? Why am I choosing decks? I don't understand. Went on to the Discord, and then they found people offering tournaments. And as I say, before I was very much a single-player gamer. I didn't play much competitively at all. Nothing multiplayer. And then, like I went tournaments. Huh? I can win a legendary. Like I can win one of these.
Oh, man, that really convinced me that, man, the Discord is the way to go. The minute I was like, the people were like, you could win cards in these. And I'm like, really? The devs support this?
Yeah. And I think that's part of the reason why originally I was playing a lot more tournaments and doing a lot more, getting a lot more involved then. I guess if it had been as bad originally, maybe I wouldn't have even got into it that much. But it seems like they started on really stable, like for me at least, stable servers. And then they must have moved to new ones, and they got really bad for a while there. I could barely get daily wins without, dropping all the way back down to Mars or something.
Yeah. If no one wants to drop significantly.
No, God, no. Although Mars,
go back to Mars.
Mars does look cooler than Terra, but
yeah, but once you get out of Mars, you don't exactly want to go back. No offense to the people in Mars, but your location's not fun. I have no entertainment there.
Yeah, it's a hot mess. It's both good and bad. That's how I would describe it.
You know what?
You get some really janky stuff there.
Yeah.
But I'm going to complain that every time I drop to Mars for a little bit, there's always a player sitting at exactly 2,000 in rank, and it's an Alfarius Mill player. I've ran into him every single time I've climbed past the limit. He's a French player every time. He's a gatekeeper.
And he beats you and then drops your rank by 100 because he was someone so low ranked. Is that it?
Not even that. It's just like when I'm climbing back through Mars, because sometimes I'll drop. I'll drop depending on if I'm trying to run a meme in rank. He just sits there trying to stop me. And if I have to pray to RNG that I don't get milled out by this Alfarius, and if I make it, I'm now back in Terra.
He's got you tagged. He's like, I want to wait for that Axel Main to get on. I'm going to bring him down.
Yeah. It might be one of the devs or something. He's keeping track of your account, and
he wants to stop me. I'm getting too powerful. Right. I must be stopped.
Yeah, keep watching for your particular. Yeah.
Well, is there anything that you want to plug, Duke?
I'd tell people to go to my YouTube channel, but nothing's happening there. So,
there might be reveals.
Well, yeah. With this expansion, I really wanted to get back into making more videos. For a while there, I was doing every event. I'd be doing a video about the best warlord to be playing, trying to give a tutorial about that, and give it maybe what deck I'm playing at the time too. But the way I'm playing, I can't record while playing because I usually play on the phone or in a noisy environment or something. So what I usually did was record the replays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But for some reason, ever since Dark Angels, apparently, I've been getting some kind of bug where my replays just, the big Eye of Horus door comes down and then the battle music starts playing and that's it. I can't see any. I can't see it. The devs are looking into it for me, but
See, I don't know that problem, but I've had the problem where my
apparently no one
replays
has.
are
They said
wrong.
no one has ever mentioned this to them before.
Yeah, I've
Sorry.
never
I've
heard of that.
I have a problem where my replays are just wrong. For example, I showed a replay where I fought another player in my lodge, and then someone clicked on it the other day, and they're like, "This is a different player," and it completely changed the replay. I just went, "I didn't even share that one." Okay.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting.
Basically, what we're saying, EG, is your replay system is a mess. Please fix this for us. We love you.
Yes, please.
There's been issues with it, that's for sure.
But usually, if you get it out before they do an update, usually it's fun. Like updates tend to mess it up. Like they change stats of a unit or something. The replay,
Buggy,
it's all wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other thing is often, for example, these last two events, I've recorded like an intro, like deck, explain the deck, explain the combos or the synergies or whatever, and then gone to the replays and just failed. I can't start the replay. So this is a waste. So then I've played a few more games, and then I've tested and it works. So I'm like, oh great, okay. I go in, I record a new intro, go to the replay, and it stops again. I have no idea what's going on. They'll occasionally start, and then after I watch one to test, are they working? The next one will not work, and then the original one will not work either.
That's weird.
So
I found a solution. You're cursed.
Yeah, I'm cursed. Speaking of curses, I have not opened a single new legendary since for the faction that I'm playing for since the Dark Angel expansion.
Wow.
He is cursed. It makes sense.
Yes, not a single new legendary in any event crate, and I play a lot of event. And, I've had to get every single one of them to the shop. I'm still missing the 3 legendary warlords from the last expansion because I have not drawn them at all. I have not drawn a single one. I haven't opened their crates or whatever, but yeah.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, I don't think any of those legendary warlords from the Defenders or the Angels of Caliban expansion are like the ones that you must have. I don't think you're missing much, but I know that especially because that's the only way you can get them, right? They're never in the shop. So
no, well they won't be until their alt art comes out. So that could be a while. They're still due for, even as I've said, even Khan and stuff is still waiting.
Yeah, that's frustrating. Well, and especially if you're not, you're not getting them in the crates. You're not going to see them for a long time. And now we're on a new expansion, so then it's like, okay, now add all the new legendaries into the mix that you may or may not get.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, as the expansions are coming out, you're meant to be getting one guaranteed card for every event crate, right? Not a single one has been legendary for me.
Always
common.
It's common.
Or exactly. Or exactly.
It's rigged.
Rigged. I'm pretty sure they changed it after the Dark Angel expansion because I remember back in the Blood Angels one, I got Sanguinius and Khan and Kabanda all from event crates.
Nice.
And I had them all before the neutrals were even out. But since then, not a single one. I think they changed it. But then again, I have seen other people do it, so I think they changed it for me.
It can be possible. Like I got some epics of the Sisters and the Fists over these last 2 expansions. Not too many. Like maybe between the 2 factions total, I would probably say maybe 5 or 6 epics in that designated slot for the new faction. But mostly it's rares. They're rare, they're common, and that's just I get that they don't want to give all the goody good stuff, but it's really frustrating when you get like a gold crate, and you're like, all right, I got legendaries from all these other cards, and then I got a rare. Like, that's weird. Why? Like, that's the best I was gonna get was a rare from this faction. That's odd. Right.
Yeah. It's a pretty. I don't know. It seems like they did change the drop rate. Mm-hmm. I'm going so far as to say that.
That's
how often
they've rigged it.
Yeah, they do want people to be buying the crates. I mean, they're not going to.
They gotta make.
Not going to blame. I do have apart from the legendary warlords, I do have complete sets of the last without buying a single crate. So it's not impossible to build up your collection. But they,
Definitely rigged
yeah,
it
they
somehow,
got
is what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
We must fight EG for this.
Speaking of new stuff, Scuff. You said you got your new reveal cards. This podcast will actually be out after.
You say that? He still won't tell me, that son of a bitch.
I just had that thought then.
I will tell you this. Yes, yeah, because by the time this podcast airs, my spoilers will already have been out. They're coming out.
Right, the audience already knows.
They already know.
Trust me, I've tried that, Duke. I've tried.
But
Okay.
I will say this: the cards that I have, they do not have a new mechanic. However, there are some very familiar trends with the cards I'm seeing in other aspects of what we have seen in other factions.
They have Psyker. He's not saying it directly, but they have Psyker. I'm not going to
confirm nor deny that.
Okay, they have Psyker.
But it's hard. You can't obviously judge a whole faction or like get an idea for how the whole faction is going to look based off of just 3 cards. However, I will say this, if it helps, from what I have seen, I'm getting vibes that feel very Orphans of War-ish.
Oh, because everyone loved the Orphans of War.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah, that's
we'll see.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if that'll stick, because, I mean, by the time we get to Thursday, there's probably going to be another 12 to 15 cards spoiled, but that's my initial take.
Mine by then, hopefully.
Yeah, after taking a look at these first 3 images, that's the vibe I got. I was like, oh, okay, is this where we're going?
Orphans of War, but with power creep.
Well, yeah, that's good.
Well, that's what we have to expect.
So let's see how it develops. So I will
people at home. You know more about me, right? You know more than me right now, and that upsets me.
I will plug the spoilers. I will plug the spoilers because by the time you hear this, the new faction, Angels of the Sigilate, is tomorrow. It's Friday, so play the event, get those new cards, and write Everguild, because you're going to need deck slots to play this new faction. You're going to need at least 2 rows of deck slots. That's my guess. That's what I want. I'm plugging deck slots.
Okay.
He always is.
Always.
You'll never get them.
Well, yeah, I suppose I shouldn't be surprised, yeah.
You'll get them. Hopefully.
You got anything to plug?
I'll plug Dorn, because I was talking to him earlier today, and he's a cool guy. Everything will be Arbites, _ between each words on Instagram, and Drew Lee Clark. That's his stuff. He's a good artist. He drew my profile picture. It's beautiful. He does commissions. Hit him up. He's a cool dude.
You know what else I forgot to plug? I was going to mention it earlier. Oh, Dorn Stash.
Dorn Stash.
Oh, right. Okay, cool. Yeah, right. Because I've been looking for a new profile pic that isn't just a copy from.
You could get him to do me on. He's a huge fan of salamanders.
Well, there you go. All right, I might hit him up for that.
I'll have to tag both.
Contrary to popular belief, he's not that big of an Imperial Fist fan.
Yeah, for the Salamanders episode, when we talk about Salamanders, I'll have to get both you guys on, and you guys can just survive and sacrifice to your heart's delight.
Yeah,
man, I love the Salamanders. I love mid-range troop stuff, and I hate the new Desperate Defense Vulcan that seems to be the go-to way to play him now. I love playing all the mid-range stuff. I love having a board of troops and trading with the opponent. Like they always put promotional images of these games but it never looks like that. It's always 2 wars facing each other and dropping tactics on each other half the time. But when you look at a promotional image of 2 rows of 6 troops, for example, right, that's the kind of game I like to play, and that's why I love Numion so much, because he could do that so easily. He'd keep everything alive the entire game.
Yeah,
lots of options. You know what you should try? The Imperial Fists. I think you might find that.
Well, yeah,
you'll definitely have 6 troops on your side of the board. That's for certain. Maybe not the other one, but
will they be any good though?
Then again, pretty solid.
I'm having fun.
Then again, Salamanders were never that powerful, were they?
Pollux performs really well. Granted, I'm not taking him high Terra, but I've ended games. I've told a few people I've ended games at 6 energy, 7 energy with just the board, and then hitting either the Gunfreed legendary or a Stone Gauntlet, and it's all right,
okay.
Now I'll finish you off with my little 2 health troops that you let sit for a while. That there are some flaws with the faction. I don't think they're where they need to be. I think we're going to see some changes, but they've got 3 good builds, and I think if Ran is what he is going to be, I think we could have 4 builds for the fists, and that's cool. I like it.
You've seen Rand's leak, right? IronDuke.
Sorry, what was that?
Did you see Ran leak? He leaked the.
Oh no, I haven't actually.
Discard a card. You choose which one.
Yep.
Gain +2, +0. Can act again 2 energy.
For +2 on your warlord.
Mm-hmm.
Yup. So he can discard a card in hand and be a 4 attack that turn for 2 energy. So say combine Report Maw. Damage.
But he can act again as well. So won't he?
You can
He could
theoretically
go up to
have
like 10 attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12.
Think about the potential.
That's kind of what people were hoping. Sigismund, right? They're kind of expecting him to be more like that, right?
Yeah, but I guess
so.
the aggro will go to Ron.
Have the act again or something like that, where Sigismund is a little different.
They thought he'd be Core Swain twice, another Core Swain.
Look, Sigismund works just fine. I will not complain if they. But like
now,
I think people are underestimating him.
I don't believe everything I hear, but I listen to the grapevine, and what I'm hearing from some good High Terra players is Sigismund might be their best warlord.
Yeah,
I don't know how true that is, but I'd like to believe it.
Right now, he is.
I've spoken to them too. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to believe that. I have no reason not to. He's solid.
Which is very interesting because look how long it took. How many times did they have to buff Nemetor and he still isn't any good?
Yeah.
But
I think it's a card pool that ain't helping him.
Well, that is true. Yeah. The salamanders do.
Well, that's what everybody was like.
We make do with what we have, and I love them anyway. But
He's
they're not
the best. Just a worse Nemetor. I'm like, yeah, but he's got an Imperial Fist card pool. There's a big difference there.
The worst Nemetor, but did you look at his cards?
Yeah.
Yeah. His bonus being able to make a front line when it really, really matters, for example.
I like using with the Orders from Terra and just slapping face for 8 to 12 damage, but there are other ways to go about it.
Yeah.
There are other ways to go about it. Having the Bastion troops, having troops that can give you the fists are not short on front line. They've got a lot going for them, so I really enjoy it. And if we get Rand to add to that mix, that's cool with me too. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't actually opened any crates for them yet. I usually save my gold for the neutral crates because I'm a cheapskate.
That's fair.
But
fair enough.
Yeah, but yeah, maybe if I get a few more. Like the only legendary I have so far is the Dreadnought that they had to give away in the shop.
That's
a good
one to have.
It's a good one though. Yeah.
That's a finisher.
If you gotta have only one, you got a good one.
Yeah. I would put him at number 1.
Might give him a shot.
Now, so
yeah,
play and have fun.
I'll give him a try.
Well, thank you for linking up with us. I know it took us a little bit to get everything figured out. We've got the across the sea and borders sometimes makes the technology hard, but appreciate your time for being on. No,
pleasure being here.
And I'm trying to think if I got anything else to add on to that. Yeah, so I just hopefully we'll look to get you in when we do the Salamanders chat as well, because that could be fun talk.
Oh no, I'd love to chat Salamanders. It's my single most experienced faction.
Yeah.
You know, I've even had people tell me that my behavior is very salamander-like.
Very friendly until you see something you don't understand, and then you burn it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, I was talking in my lodge, in our lodge Discord, for example. Like, I've given them life stories and stuff like that, and said, we get why you play salamanders. Like, oh, okay,
that's fun.
Fair enough. It's I didn't even know their lore that well, but I'm glad it all works out.
They like to burn things. That's really all you need to know.
Oh,
I can respect people like that.
Bit of a pyro.
Pyromania never hurt nobody until it did.
Well, that's debatable.
Yeah.
Everything's up for debate if you think
about it. If you talk to the people in the burn ward, you might get a different story.
They might have a different opinion about this kind of thing, but
listen, I can ignore all evidence against it until I feel like.
Even as a kid, used to love going camping sitting up the fire, and then setting more things on fire around the area.
So we're camping. Did you roast marshmallows? And if
you got it right.
Okay, so how toasted did you toast your marshmallows? This is the burning question that people want to know.
Obviously.
Very black.
Oh, so you are one of those guys. I am a very light brown. Right
No,
enough for
the
them
way
to
I
be
see it is the skin.
Mine
The skin's
had
gonna
to
crisp
catch fire.
off, right? The skin's gonna crisp. I peel the skin off and then eat the gooey
Yes.
goodness because the skin's burned.
Yep. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
way.
I
Yeah,
can't.
Because
you
it
gotta
doesn't matter
sit on
how
fire.
cooked it is,
No,
because the inside's nice and creamy.
It's just like it looks cool. I love watching a marshmallow burn, but the carcinogens, it terrifies me. I can't
The
do
Great
it.
Duke heresy.
Yeah.
Where we debate on what's the best way to eat marshmallow.
Yes. So there you go.
Yeah, I think I'm
There you go,
on your
folks.
side here,
Stuff is
Axel.
wrong.
That's proper
Yeah.
salamander marshmallow toasting technique.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Just Promethean, the whole thing. And as a kid, how worried about carcinogens were you as a
kid? I don't
roasting
even think of
marshmallows?
where they existed.
I would say it hit me about age 8 on.
Okay.
But I read some books. I read some books at the library, and I didn't fully understand what the word was, except that it was just not a good thing to have. And then I was like, oh, it's related to ashes, and charred things, and like overcooked things and smoking.
Well, yeah, but as a kid, I thought the Bermuda Triangle was about the most dangerous thing in the world. I heard about you hear about that too,
I'm so
right?
happy
Yes.
other people had that same revelation as a
Books
child.
about
Where
the Bermuda Triangle, I was like, man, don't go there.
I
Don't know. Oh my God! Why are we allowing this place to exist?
Yeah.
Just
Why don't we purge it?
border it off.
Why?
No,
What is the
you
deal?
got to build a
Just
giant
stay
wall
away.
around it.
There's a mystery to be
Build
solved.
a giant wall and send people in attached to ropes to find out what happens at the center and why no one has ever come out alive.
Have you?
And then you grow up and you find out it's just like magnets. Like it's
Yeah, exactly.
Like lame realization.
And it is literally the most trafficked area of the sea, and that's why anything that disappears there is more common because it's
Right.
more.
Everybody's
There's literally more ships there. Yeah.
Everything disappears there because everything goes there.
There's
Right. Yeah.
the innocence of youth and the mysteries that we would have, like ghost stories, whether it was like unsolved.
You know what you got to
mysteries.
do? Ironduke Jr. needs to grow up afraid of the Bermuda Triangle, and you have to be strong enough to make sure that happens.
Well, I've got a good start. I mean, the other day, there's some new science picture out about new telescope. They've managed to take a picture of a black hole from.
I know what you're talking about.
Like there was that one that came out last year or whenever, but there's a new one now, like the stars being crushed into the black hole or something.
Oh, that's cool.
And I was checking out this photo. Same time he's around, and I'm like, hey, come check this out. Look at this. Isn't it a great picture?
This will end the world.
It's like, yeah, and he's just kind of staring at it, and I'm like, isn't that great? And it's like, it's scared. Well, he said it's scared because it's 2.
He's a child. Yeah.
But like, he got the grammar wrong. But yeah, and it's like, no, man, it's not a black hole. The black hole's a long way away. It can't hurt you. And I started like putting my hand into a circle shape and like saying, look, I was trying to show it's the star being. And he's like, no. We're like, all right, okay. There's his Bermuda Triangle apparently.
Got to teach him young to fear the triangle.
He's just touched.
Right,
He
yeah.
can sense the inevitable doom that black
He's
hole.
like Proto-Rabo.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there you go. It's something innate. Apparently, the black hole is innately terrifying to young children.
Can't blame him.
Maybe they know something better than we do.
All people are born with an innate fear of black holes, but lose them as they grow up. Is that what we're getting at?
Oh, dear.
I think
It's not
so.
very wise of us, is it?
No. If we should learn anything, it's to be afraid and stay afraid.
Yeah,
We should learn anything. Fear what we don't understand.
Fear everything.
Especially black holes.
Black holes, especially. I mean, I wouldn't go near.
Black hole sun.
I haven't
you
gone
found?
near a black hole my whole life, and I'm doing fine.
Well,
could
that's
rearrange
it. That's
that.
it. And I think everyone who follows that advice has done well. I think that's
so. I think that's a good mantra
Yeah.
to live by. We'll close on that.
That'll be the
stay
ending
away
thought
from
on
black holes.
the ending motto of the podcast is stay away from black
Stay
holes.
away from black holes,
And-
folks.
But aren't we broadcasting from the Eye of Terror? Isn't that basically like
No, the Eye of
magic
Terror
black hole?
It is beyond a black hole. The Eye of
It
Terror
is basically a different dimension.
It's like a
yeah, it's like a
fluorescent
emotional-
purple hole.
It's an emotional black hole transdimensional essence. It's like
the other side of the normal universe.
A magic black hole.
it's the
Yeah.
tear. It's not just the tear in the reality. It's the tear in the spectrum of emotions. It is
a magic black hole.
Yeah, it is carnal lust in upon itself.
Yeah.
There you go. Through
That's very
space and
poetic,
time.
but still a magic black hole.
Maybe.
Very poetic, still a magic black hole.
All right. Well, thank you once again, and we'll figure out a way out of this black hole.
Magic black hole.
The sunlight dims.
This has been another episode of the Warp Chatter Podcast. Thank you for listening.
Eternal loyalty!
Burn it! Burn it all!
Well executed!